Shane,
Harvey,
welcome to the show.
thank you. Yeah, it was a privilege to be offered to come and be part of this. It'd be beautiful.
Crack right into it. Why is it so important for men to look at mental health as a component within their life?
Yeah, it's a good question, actually. And probably a bit more complex than complete time we have to discuss it. But I suppose in a nutshell, from my perspective, it's I don't think there's a lot of opportunity for us to come together in a space that's where we're all even, we're all equals, where a place where there's no judgment, a place for a man just to be seen and heard, I think is inevitably difficult to find in society. It is achievable in some senses with some of our societal things like pubs and sitting around having a beer, typically the Aussie way to do things, for men. So to remove the substance, to be a creator of softness and openness between one human to another, and create a space that's able to actually provide that is I think one of the main reasons that circles are probably pretty potent for men moving forward in things that are holding them back in their self or in their life. Yeah.
I asked this because I'm aware that you run a men's circle in Newcastle.
Yeah.
How did you come along men's circles? Were you a part of one to begin with?
Yeah, and I think a lot of us end up that way. Yeah, so it's part of our own healing journey. It's part of our own experiences, and the way we feel after the experience is probably a beautiful reflection upon what the potency of those spaces create. So, my healing journey, there was quite a bit for me to chew through. Inevitably had a great childhood bringing up, but I had some traumatic experiences through that childhood, some physical, sexual. There was a lot of things in that space that sort of carved certain traumas into my psyche or my subconscious, which evolved into behaviors later in life. So that and bringing things to a head in certain parts of my life. I had an opportunity on a separation of my marriage for me to actually have a good hard look at myself and just dig back with compassion for self, but to dig in and see what those issues were, which were creating ongoing things that were coming up in my life. Yeah. So going through that process, sitting in my first circle, profound experience, broke me tears, emotion flowed to the surface and it was uncontrolled. It was a release. And it was not, I was not probed. I was not, it was required. My system, I trusted my soul brought me to that space, for two things, to start the healing process and to also learn on how potent this process is for men to actually, be soft, still being their warrior, but, be realistic and move forward and get away from all the things that hold us back. Yeah. That society kind of traps in us and doesn't give us an opportunity to process so much. Yeah.
What gave you the courage to step into a men's circle for yourself? Because I know the first things that I did for myself were mainly had a lot of women there. Typically in healing spaces, it's more women predominant because typically in this stereotype is that men don't really look at themselves that often. But the spaces and the times that I did step into all men's spaces, it was even more terrifying confronting men, being my real vulnerable self, not being like in competition. So like men are very in competition with each other, like warriors in the most silly of ways. How did you build the courage for yourself in life to face men in that way?
Yeah, good question. I don't know. Courage is definitely a word that I needed. The self talk, the self questioning, and the low self esteem, and all the things. Well, am I worthy? Am I capable? Am I wise enough? Am I, am I in the right space to be able to do this for others and hold a space that's really, there can be quite a significant shift in that. So, holding a space for people to feel that they can release. I think it was inevitable that I'd end up into this space. I think the joy from the ongoing training, the ongoing homework, and looking at self, saw the benefit in going within. And yeah, sometimes people need not their hand held, but they, maybe a hand on the shoulder to come into a space that, that they can start to move through some things themselves. So courage is a good word, because it took a lot, me being quite sensitive and shy as I was growing up, a little bit more outgoing now these days. But moving into that space was, bravery, but a calling. I think I needed to actually step aside from my own dialogue. I did some I did training. So I did my homework on how to hold these spaces with integrity, and so moving into that with knowledge really gave me some confidence, enough confidence to move into and just try it out and see how it flowed. Yeah.
You spoke on something earlier as well. You mentioned a divorce that you went through served as an incredible opportunity. And this is something that I love to focus on in my life, and the way in which I try and view conversation, and just try and view life in my life and other people's lives, friends, and just people I run into, where people begin to view adversity and things in which they've gone through, or things which they may be in their control, out of their control, that might seem pretty shit that happened, and they describe them as an opportunity. How is adversity, obviously divorce, I can't imagine, it's something not easy to go through. Also, I know that you have children as well. How is that? How can you describe that as an opportunity? How has that formed itself into an opportunity for you? And
I think I had the choice for it to be an opportunity. Yeah, I could have done boohoo me and stayed essentially on a path that I was on, not of destruction, but of unhealthy habits and behaviors, and just an unhealthy concept of what was right and wrong. So the significance of my separation was the hardest thing I had to endure in my life. It was showing up as a failure as such in that space was really difficult, and letting a whole family down, and the onflow, the ripple effect of that for years to come. I really had an opportunity in that, a vision. I went and spent on the beach the first few nights, that this this separation created for me. I went and spent some time on the beach, and I got a lot of clarity in that moment, a lot of downloads, a lot of information through about, the next steps I need to take. And it was, to me, it was a teaching. It was something that I really needed to look at, and evaluate where I was and where I wanted to go. So diversity, my children were definitely a motivator in me becoming something for them to be proud of, and to me sustain a life for them in the best way I could, for some stability and some consistency, in their life, because it's a lot for kids, and if any adult or any children have gone through a divorce, it's a roller coaster ride. So very fortunate that their mother and I, were very amicable through most of the process. So we didn't involve them in that. So it was really a great opportunity for both of us to have a good look at who we were and where we're going, and what are we going to do with the rest of our life. So I see it as it was a godsend. It was a significant moment, a catalyst for change in my life. Yeah, so I think it comes down to perspective, and I think relating back to the circles, sometimes people are in those positions where they don't have anyone to talk to, or they don't have any clarity around what they need to do. So just creating a space that these people can come and just openly be unjudged, and just not necessarily have to share anything, but just to sit in a circle of other men that are capable of being open and vulnerable in whatever it is that is going on in their life, and just listen to the journey. And we're not all that different. Yeah, we're all going through very similar kind of scenarios at different times and severities of life. So, yeah.
Yeah, it can seem like that as well. Like, as men, I know in my life, like when we're going through adversity, it feels like we're so alone.
Yeah.
It feels like we're the only one who have ever experienced this, and nobody compared to our situation, when a lot of the men and humans are going through things very similar. I don't want to say if not worse, but there's many variety of situations that all have us feeling a very similar way. Feel as men, like shame is a huge thing that we get caught up in, and guilt, especially for the societal norms of maybe not being able to provide in one financial sense, or if we are able to provide in a financial sense, maybe not being able to provide in an emotional sense. It's this huge dichotomy. Now, our friend Chelsea, so for some background, we just trained together for 3 weeks at Sattva Yoga Academy, learning yoga, Kriya, Kundalini yoga, all of it. It was insane.
It was awesome.
And we dropped in with Sister Chelsea. I was there as well. So the episode should be out before this. Watch it.
Definitely watch it. Yes.
Well, we were hanging out together one day, you, me, and Chelsea, and I remember she was telling me and speaking to you just how amazing your kids are. And we've also had conversations about your daughter and recently your son as well, and that you guys have a really, really tight bond and relationship. That's something that's quite rare in one, and also rare for a single dad. And I know all relationships are unique, but speaking out to any other single dad who's really struggling with a son and daughter, or both at the moment, what would some advice be to create the relationship and bond that you've created with your beautiful children?
Yeah. Wow. You're cracking me open there. I haven't seen my kids, face to face for a couple of months with all the travel, but you're right. They are amazing people. And I'm very fortunate for their wisdom at their age, because they're teachers for me as well. So, look, I think inevitably, what do people want? People want quality time and presence. I think is probably the highest of priorities when it comes to spending time with our kids. We get lost a lot of the time, I think, in our own stuff, and we think, oh, the kids are fine, they're coping, they're just kids, and regardless of the age. But going through the turmoil of if it is a separation, just being completely present with them in the moment, not involving them in the nitty gritty of the separation. It's none of their business. They really don't. It's between the two adults. So in no way should they involve or question or bring their own trauma or own insecurities onto the kids that's going on with their relationship. But to spend time with their kid, I mean, it's a shock, right? Like, as you spend a lot of time in a marriage with your partner and your kids you bring up together, but you spend a lot of time with your partner. So you're as a group, so it can be quite a shock when you get all this time if you've got like half my children half the time. So, sitting with them, it takes some getting used to. Yeah, it's like you're really going to get to know each other on a different level, and you're trying to be strong, and you're trying to be vulnerable, and you're trying to be fun, and you're trying to be, stable, and you're, but giving them space. And I think one of the things I focused on the most when I was with my children was just potency, and that wasn't about asking them to do things for me or like with me that I wanted to do. It was about me doing things with them that they wanted to do, what was interesting in their life. So that way I, flowed into their energy and I flowed into their their desires and their interests, and then we grew from that. And then, you know, softly, I mean, we can't change things overnight. But yeah, I mean, they're humans. They have their own things, and we have our own things, and we're all trying to be kind and supportive of each other the best we can at our, you know, all our times. But yeah, I think I've just been honest, definitely honest with them about where you're at, but not involving them too much, and just spending time with them, doing things that they like. Yeah. And relationship grows from that. Trust. Yeah. Honesty's a huge part, you know. They know it's not easy. They're going through similar things. So yeah, just love, simply. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what I'd recommend from experience. Yeah, you nearly got me.
I understand that you weren't always like this.
No.
I mean, deep down, this was always you, I'm sure. But if you've ever met Shane, then or gone to his men's circles or received a hug from him at Satva, then you'd understand how feeling and warm and soft you are. That's a word, and in the best way of saying soft as well. It's a kind of mixed terminology within men, but it's truly a compliment. What is the journey from to discover that or rediscover that childlike sense of wonder, awe, and softness?
Mm.
And did it stem from this separation that you mentioned? It was like a reclamation.
Yeah, I think there was a significant shift in that moment, because I had to look at me. I had to look at what it was, how I was turning up, and who I wanted to be. I think the self-analysis, you know, we can get in our heads sometimes, and so it gets a little dark because especially when we're going through things and we don't feel we've done the right thing, or we feel we've been done wrong by. You know, the stories and the narrative of all that can really, you know, shift our chemical balance as well, and our perspective of life and relationships. And yeah, so I think I've always had a sensitive side to me. I was quite shy and sensitive as a child, always growing up. But bringing the full me to the front, you know, was a process of realizing who I was at the time. So very honest evaluation about the things in me that was working and things that weren't. And we all need to come from a place of where we're at. Yeah, always as time progresses from now to 3 seconds. You know, we're different. We're different humans all the time. So everything's always shifting. But to know where we're coming from is the first thing. So our awareness needs to be fairly strong and high with ourselves, and honest. But then the willingness to actually want to shift that is the big key. So knowing what we're at and where we're at, and then deciding that I don't want to be that anymore, or that part of me is not really serving me anymore, or and then looking at the influences that has, and just being honest with self and saying, okay, well, that's feeding. If you want to relate to like a dark wolf or a white wolf, you know, it's like, what wolf am I feeding here? And when you get some awareness around that, and through your honesty, you know, you go, okay, how do I go back over this other side? How do I shift that? And the more you're capable of actually reading into yourself and seeing these things that pop up, then the easier it gets. So as the awareness lifts, the weight lifts as well, and you get to shift back. You shift into that nicer space, into that different direction sooner. And the more you practice that, you know, you just end up there. But it starts with a willingness. It starts with a willingness to want to change. And then when you make the effort, you put in the energy, you add value to that, and then the universe will step in and assist. You know, it'll start shifting for you, and you'll find yourself in a different space. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I love words.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of more favorite words now, but when I first started learning about how important language was, my favorite word was willing.
Mm-hmm.
My least favorite word was soon.
Mm.
The complete opposite.
Yeah.
If you're
completely.
using soon in your day-to-day life, even if it's washing, doing your washing, I'm gonna do my washing soon, nothing's getting done. There's no willingness to change. There's no willingness to take action. Soon is like destroy all, and willingness is the creator of all.
Mm.
Saying to yourself, I am willing to change, not I'm willing to change soon. Because that doesn't
Yeah.
fucking mean anything.
Yeah.
Is there any language that you've identified for yourself as well that has been either a creator or a destroyer or something that just does not mean anything in your life?
Yeah. I think, there's a few things actually, but a lot of us go around apologizing for things we don't even need to apologize for.
I hear people ordering their coffee with the first word saying sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, do you mind if I...
Yeah.
What are you
sorry
for?
about? Yeah.
This is the conversation you're having with the barista.
Yeah.
Sorry, do you mind if I get this milk? No, don't stop being sorry.
Yeah.
Interjected, but I
You're right.
completely agree.
I mean, to come up with the word, like to want to say that word, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, or the energy that comes with that word is that I've done something wrong. You're starting from a place of self doubt or self judgment, so words are super powerful. Yeah. So to drop the sorry, unless it's deserved, unless you actually do something you should apologize about, then that's being honest and living in integrity. But yeah, I think the self talk, the listening to what it is that we're saying, how we're saying it, is there a positive perspective on it? Talking about other people, is our comments around somebody else a judgmental comment without wisdom? Is it something that, if it is without wisdom, if it is just a judgmental comment, and this is a direct reflection upon your insecurity and self. So, they could be as happy as any human on earth, and they're really pleased with who they are and how they present, and whatever it is you're judging is all coming from yourself.
Yeah.
So I think, going around understanding that people are all running around doing all their crazy things just like we are. We're running around doing our crazy things too, and trying to make sense of our world and our emotions and actions. And so some people don't really evaluate that. They just continue to, trip over themselves, but that's their journey. But to be, I think a good human, I think language is significant in a shift to becoming a better person. Yeah. Not only for self, but you also attract others with more positive language than you do with negative, and it tends to shift into a different space, when you start I still swear as well at times, but sometimes it's with humor, sometimes it's in frustration sometimes, but to start to swear and to bring heavy words into a nice, positive, good energy conversation tends to shift that. If it's inevitable, it's going to turn into a bit more of a heavy, uncomfortable space. Yeah, I agree. Yes.
Do you feel like your language has shifted over time?
Yeah, I've allowed myself to try and be more me, and trust the fact that what I'm saying is coming from a good place. So, try and lead with the heart in regards to think. Obviously, think before I talk as well. You don't always have to fill spaces with words. I've had a significant existence in the sales industry as well. I've done different things, but in the sales industry, the one thing I feel is the most potent sales skill in the world is to listen. And that relates back to not only listening to a personal conversation, but also sitting in a group of men or a group of male and just in any kind of scenario to really embrace and listen to someone, which is showing them that you have compassion for and you have respect for them, or you have, all the things that we should have for other humans. Yeah, because it's a reflection of who we want to be. Yeah.
What's a technique that someone can use to get out of their own head, and sometimes having a conversation, all we're thinking about is what we're going to say next instead of actually being present with every word that they're saying. How do you, in conversation in men's circles or just everyday life, actually what's the technique that you use to deepen into that conversation and get out of your own mind, and how you can next further this conversation, really just hold space for that person?
Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah, it's like, I think we're all like pre-programmed that, it's all about us a lot of the time. And certainly sitting around and having a conversation, you'd be sitting there and someone's talking about something and you're already on your narrative of, oh, my story's better than yours,
Yeah.
or I got a similar one, but something else
That's all
happened.
pub chats are.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I got this fucked up last week. Oh, I got this fucked up last
Yeah. But just to sit there and listen, and not to have
Woo!
everything's okay.
Yeah.
And not to
Just
have not needing to be seen at all, just holding space and listening to someone else. It's actually really, it's one of the main laws of the circle. Yeah, if you want to go to law, it's and yeah, it's to sit and listen and embrace, sit, no judgment, and no advice given. These spaces aren't designed to go in and get ridiculed or to feel small or to feel anything other than just to be seen and heard and have an opportunity to shift the energy, move the energy, and then they get to sit and listen to the other stories that are shared as well, where everyone else is at. And that tends to make them realize that, okay, it's not only me in this space. It's not only me dealing with shit, we've all got shit. It's just, yeah. So, I don't know. And it's a community, yeah. So the healing process can be quite isolating, very lonely sometimes, especially when we go deep into thought. So, yeah, sitting around with a bunch of men or people that, women do it as well. So, there's a sense of community there that resonates, because we are communal people and beings. We're meant to be together.
Yeah. Two minds is better than one.
Two healthy minds are better than one.
Yeah. Two healthy minds are better than one, for sure.
Yeah. But it's not all doom and gloom either. I mean, the circles are, it's nice to get in and shift what it is that's alive in you at the moment, but there's also fun and laughter and, a blend. I do sound healing as well. So, I do sound healing at the end if we've got time to, take them into a different space and really look at calming the nervous system and things like that. And, the most amazing things we've just been learning, that's Sapphire, it's like to bring those into the space and activate and calm and do all the beautiful, breath works and things like that. So these circles are, I'm still learning, I'm still researching, and I'm still teaching myself how to bring this for others to experience what it is that I've experienced as well. So.
Yeah. And have you had any amazing things come through for some? Maybe don't have to speak their names specifically, but do you have any beautiful stories of a man who, I know I'm a man who showed up to a space in a very messed up way, and by the end of it, I was in there for about a year and shifted completely from having a rat tail, a skullet, eyebrow piercings, nose piercings, everything, to the end of it turning my hair blonde from nature and from healing. Like, my hair was nearly black when I first met the group, and just out of health concern. And then by the end of it, I had these beautiful long locks that I had blonde in them hadn't had that since I was a child. I had this massive smile on my face. I looked younger than I was when I started. Yeah, have you had many experiences?
I've had some amazing feedback. Yeah, there's a number of stories I could share. The one that's coming up right now is there was a yoga. So I was holding the circles at a yoga studio at this point, and it was after a class. So basically, people were still packing up and rolling their mats up and leaving and things like that. So I'd turn up beforehand, and I'd have people registered to turn up, but I'd also offer it to the people in class. Any of the males want to stick back for a men's circle, So, and one night there was two men that stayed back from that class, and one of them was quite, he was just reserved. He had never participated in a men's circle, didn't know what it was, what was going to happen, and so he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll see what goes on." So, but he didn't involve himself a great deal in the circle. He listened quite a lot, and the collective energy that was there was must have resonated with where he was in his life, because we all have an opportunity to talk. You don't have to if you don't want to, but he did share some things that he was facing in his life eventually, and it was just to a healthy, happy, supportive space, and then he didn't come back. Left the circle. He was happy, and men were high fiving and hugging and stuff when they were leaving, and then he moved away. He moved into Western New South Wales. And it was probably 6-7 months later. Like, I was having a coffee with a friend on Derby Street in Newcastle, and I saw him walk past with his partner, and I noticed him, and then I was just still in conversation. But I saw him stop, and he said to his partner, "I'm just going to go back." And so she kept walking, and he walked over to me, and he said, "Shane, I don't know if you remember who I am, but I attended one of your circles." And he said, "I just wanted to personally say thank you for holding that space and creating an opportunity for that night to happen," because he said that has shifted so much in my life from what I got from that night, within regards to relationship, within regards to moving forward in business decisions, and bringing what his creation, like his creativeness had created, and how to apply that into the world. And so he said he was going gangbusters in such a short period of time. And then he just said, "I just wanted to thank you." I was like, I welled up, and gave him a hug, and then he left. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons I do this. Yeah. That's probably one of the main reasons is, I see the shift. I feel, and if someone doesn't, people turn up for the first time and experience these circles, and it's not for them. That's okay, but it's fine. Don't find whatever it is that does suit you. I'm not, just come and go as you please. And if you get something, then that's great. That's all that I intend. And my intention was, if I get something, then great. If I don't, then great. So just an opportunity for them.
And it only makes sense as well. Like, it's simple mathematics. You're putting men who all have similar intentions to be real, whether one's feeling emotional, one's feeling really motivated and energetic, it's still arriving. They're all there with the same heart, the same intention. And the mathematics of that is, when you add all of these together, it's going to create a greater sum of deeper wisdom, deeper knowledge, deeper movement. And 1, 2, 3, or all of them are going to walk out of there with some level of new awakening into their life. Maybe it's just a quote that somebody said. Maybe it was someone speaking something that they're going through that another man resonated with. I know that one happens a lot, because we all think we're going through it alone, but the person sitting next to us is going through the near exact same thing. Maybe it's creating deeper bonds or friendships. I'm sure you've seen a lot of these happen and unfoil, and it's quite amazing just to sit, especially men who hold themselves back and hold themselves in so much.
Yeah.
How does holding ourselves in and our emotions in really affect us in the long run as men?
It can be quite horrific, really. I think part of our life purpose is to clear the stuff that we've engaged as a child. So, turning into a true adult, facing the things that are controlling us that we don't like. So, if we get an opportunity to actually look at that and have some support around how we might be able to approach that, and it's not always as hard as someone thinks, And there's no real shame around it either, because we're all, as I said a number of times, we're all experiencing very similar things in our life. There's these circles can generate, it's almost like I walk away from them and I'm like, there's a particular theme that was resonating with everyone in that space, like that night. It was, everyone kind of related, and it was all coming back to a particular thing. And so, I think it's important to know you don't need a story to turn up to these things either. You can just turn up and listen. You can just, be a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
But giving yourself an opportunity to actually show up is a huge step, you know, and it's a willingness. It's a willingness to look at things that they know is in them that they don't want in them anymore. So yeah, the space is awesome. Met some awesome friends in there, like some really like genuine people. And I'm privileged. I learn every time, you know. It's a mirror. I'm always reflecting upon what it is that's discussed as well, and I get an opportunity to open up as well. I don't just sit there and guide. I participate. So it's very real. I'm still pulling medicine out of it. Don't worry. Like, yeah, I'm not some super healed, finished off kind of. I've still got stuff, and always will have. So yeah, the journey continues. It's just yeah, and whether you're willing to actually participate in the growth of that. Yeah. Mm.
When we first met, you explained to me this incredible story of why you're here in India, Rishikesh.
Mm.
Yeah, talk us through these last months and these next moving months, and how that awoke for you, how you made that turning point to doing this crazy wild hero's journey you're on right now.
Yeah, I suppose it was a soul calling. Like it was. I had a conversation with my manager at work. I'd been in the same employment for 16 years, and when I reflected back on how much time I'd had off, since I'd even left school, I'd never taken more than 2 weeks off as a break. So I've worked. I'm 50, 51 now, nearly 52 next month, and yeah, it's a long time. It's a long time without taking a significant break. I didn't do any gap years or anything like that. So yeah, my manager asked how I was going, and I responded fairly abruptly. My body spoke before I could think too much, and just said, I'm at a point where I'm going to break. If I don't do something, I need time off. So, yeah, they respected that, and I appreciate the fact that they've given me 12 months. They've given me a gap year to actually step away and participate in the world a little bit, and find myself. I don't know. I'm called here. I'm just I'm stepping into that challenge of what that is, and the excitement of the unknown, and the ability to grow in challenge, and have a calmness around that. Not control the anxiousness when it rises up, when something doesn't flow or doesn't go right for me, and just learning how to be more adaptive and control my nervous system in those times. But it's been phenomenal. I did I first landed in Nepal and did the Holi festival, and then I did a 14-day trek around Annapurna Circuit, and the challenges and insights and the rawness and ruggedness of that land, and that opportunity to connect in that space was phenomenal. And it's certainly something that resonates again. I'd love to share that experience in some way with other men that might be interested as well. But then from Nepal, I went to a monastery. I went and stayed in a monk's monastery, in a Buddhist monastery for 14 days, living amongst the monks, learning about Buddhism. Phenomenal experience as well. Learning the belief system, questioning their belief system, taking what I do and don't resonate with, just lots of learnings for me, and realizations and comparisons. I had quite a religious upbringing, but as soon as I hit teenagerhood, I kind of went surfing instead. But and then left Nepal and come to Rishikesh and spent a few days in Rishikesh, just across there, on the other side of the river, and then we went and did 3 weeks of yoga teacher training, which was phenomenal. I had no idea. I remember the opening circle, everyone introducing each other, which was probably 100 people. Do you think? Or are we short of that?
All up, altogether 300s, 200s on the staff.
Yeah.
Probably short of 100 people.
Yeah, significant volume of people. Yeah, that was awesome. but everyone an opportunity to say why they were there and who they were there. And I said, I don't know. I don't know why I'm here. I've done yoga over the years and really enjoyed it on and off. But I had no concept of what it was installed. So the degree of learning, the variety of methods, the modalities tied up within the modality of yoga, it's phenomenal. And that medicine, to be able to bring that to others is a real, it's a desire, and it's it's alive. Yeah,
I'm gonna put you on the test here.
Good on you.
We did a lot of wisdom talks. From all those wisdom sessions, what was one thing that you took out of it that you didn't necessarily know, or maybe something that validated what you already knew?
For me, if I'm to pick one thing out of it all, I think what really resonated was these comments around essentially who it is where we're putting our energy. What are we giving our energy to? Because when you give your energy to something or someone, it creates value, right? You're giving it value. So just assess what you're giving value to, because this is a short run. We got a short existence here, and in the scheme of things, life goes very quickly. I suppose when we get a time to realize, when we're chasing potency in the things that we're interested in, it's like, okay, what do I give that energy to? What do I give my energy to? And to, be real. Yeah, just be real and have fun and creativity and do something. Oh, sorry, there's more than one thing. Like just even starting something, like the moments of creativity that come up and the ideas you have, it's like just take one step. It's not going to be a completion in a short period of time. Everything's created by small little steps. So just one little step at a time. Write it down, create a list of what needs to happen, and then just start actioning. Put some intention behind it, some willingness, and it will be.
Yeah. We're creative creatures. Humans. Like a monkey can't build this.
We had plenty of that experience too. Monkeys.
We're creative creatures, and to ignore that is to go against our human nature, I feel. I totally agree. Like, where the deepest fulfillment is created for humans is in the creation of something, and especially creation of something serving good, the highest good. Maybe even serving our community or serving something or someone larger than ourselves. And that doesn't have to be like, also as humans, we're dramatic. When I think about, I need to create, I think about, I need to create like the Death Star. I need to create a whole new planet. I need to create something huge, remarkable. And that's just the ego. We can create a smile on someone's face by creating a smile on our face. And that's creating something beautiful right there. That's creating something higher than ourselves, because that smile is then going to create another smile. It's an ongoing, beautiful, positive effect. We can create nice words spoken to our girlfriend that we haven't told her before, which is going to then create lasting impact on her self-confidence, which is then going to create lasting impact in her world and the world of your relationship. There's so much that we can create in just the tiniest small things that can create so much long-lasting impact. That doesn't have to be moving an entire mountain. That's the ego. But to get into this level of creation and creator, realizing that our words create a reality, our thoughts create a reality. The way in which we use our words create our thoughts. The way in which our thoughts creates our word. So if we can begin to master the mind, and that's what yoga is, mastering the mind, it's not just about doing upward dogs and downward dogs. But to master the mind.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, me too. But it's really not what it is. It doesn't even have to be doing your asana, or doing your yoga in your studios. It's just what you spoke about before, having that deep awareness. Where do you feel awareness differentiates between insecurity people just being hyper aware and insecure about how they say something, how they're being perceived, and awareness of a view, awareness of a situation.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's a variable for different people. I mean, some people are really unaware of what their energy can, create or destroy within an environment or a situation. I don't know if people are prepared to feel how do they feel about how they turn up. There's yoga, what we're told and endlessly reminded over our training that it's movement with breath and feeling into the body before we start class. Sit, stay, be calm. And how do you feel in your body? So moving through life, doing things, there is the energy output bounces back. There's a reflection that comes into us and we feel a certain way about either what we put out or what we receive back. And if it doesn't align with it, if it doesn't feel comfortable, or if it doesn't feel like it's something you want to lean into or are encouraged by, or felt, what's the word, authenticity in, and then, you need to be able to look at that. It's difficult for a lot of people in such a consumerist world as well. Like, we're being told all the time we need to look a certain way or act a certain way. So yeah, being real about how it is we're showing up and what's driving our decisions, what's creating, what's behind the creation of how we show up and appear, essentially. To go back to our training, and our wisdom talks, and Unji's foundation is from a place of love, and that showed up time and time and time again through his discussions, and the authenticity of what it is that he wants to see in the world and things like that. It's phenomenal because that's coming from a heartfelt, well-educated and well-lived experiences. But if we can find, I suppose we're chasing that, right? If we're not feeling love for ourselves, then we're looking for it elsewhere. And if that's, how we're showing up, hungry and thirsty and things like that, then we're not finding a center in ourselves. We're not finding the inner love and the inner peace where we need to come from. They'll full blast first and then share it with others. So, not always easy. Not always easy for people to see who they are and where they're at. But if they're willing, then they'll see it eventually. Then they decide if they change or not. So
it's always from the inside out, eh?
Can be the other way for a long time, but it doesn't always work out.
Healing is always from the inside out, never from the outside in. You can't just wear the dreads, get the crystals, get the pearls, get the yoga mat, do the yoga, perfect the body, and pretend that we're going to be all okay on the inside. I was also speaking to a woman the other day, and she was asking why I was in India and everything, and I was like, this, and like going on my healing journey, and she was like, don't even call it a healing journey. And she spoke about that we're not broken, like, especially with Sattva, she was staying there because she just stays there as a residential, and she partakes in the events and everything, not to heal, but just to accelerate her being, just to extend her capacity and to bring more life, instead of, if we keep on telling ourselves that we're healing, then we keep on inflicting this point of focus that we're broken. I just thought that was interesting. I haven't had too much thought of it until just now. There's been so much thought in this mind of mine after this last month. But like reframing this word healing, remembering that nothing in us is inherently broken. But there's always even improvement's a weird word because there's nothing good or bad inherently about us, but we can identify when something isn't currently serving us. Like a deep-rooted insecurity about not being able to take off our own shirt. That may be holding us back, or a deep insecurity about being able to just speak openly, or public speak, or being able to just walk out in the street, or even share a smile, or get out of your bedroom is going to affect you in a not so helpful way. So it's this less healing, but more self-expansion.
Yeah.
Through men's circles, through breathwork events, through booking a yoga teacher training for 3.5 weeks. That one's a bit intense, but
I agree. I think the word healing can be overused, and it's quite a marketing thing now. Like there's all the sound healing and all the different modalities kind of with healing. But I think it kind of needs to be there. The healing is a path to move away from a discomfort in self. Yeah. So once that awareness in ourselves realizes there's something that's not comfortable in us, then we look for a way. Well, some do look for a way, hopefully, in a clean way, that they find something that feels like they're healing, that we're all chasing. We could call it an experience. It's just an experience of lightness away from the heaviness of what we're feeling in ourselves. So just layers, removing layers, all energetics too. We're all energetic beings, so our frequency changes all the time, and different parts of us are at different frequencies. So going into an environment where a frequency is more conducive with calmness, or with a stillness, or an opportunity to, hypothetically, you could say a sound bath, that penetrates on a cellular level, and kind of side, it goes via, or steps around the limitations of what the brain, is capable of doing, and the limitations around that. So, we can feel things on a different level. We're just shifting things that are stuck in us and moving. So like energy work, Reiki, and, all sorts of different things can be beneficial in that space. Just, it's beautiful when I have clients turn up, because they've already gone through a particular process of realization. Like they've discovered the fact that they're not happy with something, and they want to lean into something. They want to see if there's an opportunity for an answer to get some ease and some comfort in themselves, to move beyond whatever feels off in them. So once they've made that decision, they're already healing them. So they're already open, and they're already ready to receive. And so it's not like you've got to convince anyone once they're there that this is a, particular modality that will do this and that. It's like, okay, let's just do it. And they're more receptive. So, small steps, but
small keys open big doors.
Nice. Yeah.
If you could speak to every male in Australia right now, what would you want them to hear?
I think it's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, wherever you're at, like, it's just where you're at. If you don't like where you're at, then get some courage, like lean into the masculine, the warrior within, and do something about it. Yeah. It's not weak. It's probably the braver way to go, because the journey of healing and getting past a lot of things is not always an easy one. When you uncover and you sort of scratch the scab off, there's this wound that's under there, and you got to dig at it and really discover what that is and why it is, so to move it. So I just think, like, find some way to connect in community. You don't have to deep dive into all your feelings and, be this broken, open, weeping source of, pain. It's like, just turn up and just be yourself and be authentic. But find community, find a space where you can find like-minded people that are on that path, whether you put that in to a category of spiritual, or you put it into a category of yoga, or you put it into whatever space you want to put it into. These are all areas that people are looking to improve themselves. And when you align and you vibrate with other people in that same space, it's easier. Yeah. So just give yourself an opportunity and turn up to just one, just be honest with yourself how it feels. And if it doesn't feel right, try again, like in a couple of months, something different, or let's just
Keep trying.
give yourself a chance.
Yeah.
Don't have the bravery to change the things in your life you don't want, that you aren't serving anymore. I think that's where the medicine really is. Yeah. Moving away from the things that aren't healthy for you. Yeah. All those that you love.
Yeah. That's a funny dichotomy that I get sometimes frustrated with men, is that we feel it's the brave and strong thing to just forget and brush it under the rug and go to the pub and keep numbing. Whereas in the harshest way possible, like, that's so cowardice to hide our whole life. And the true courageous and brave thing is to just face yourself. And just face yourself. Like, we're all pretending that we're not scared when we're all terrified of what's underneath the sheets. We're terrified to pick at the scab to see what's under the wound. As soon as we see that, we freak out and we numb until it comes up again. It's always going to come around again. Chelsea said something to me beautiful on our potty of evolve or repeat. Just evolve or repeat. These things are going to keep coming back up, and then it's such a continuous rhythm where they numb, and then they get into an argument with their partner or a bloke at work, or someone cuts them off in traffic, and they just blow up. And then they either talk about it or they just brush it off of like, just a lot of tension at work, and they throw it off onto some other thing without realizing it's them. And it's something within them that hasn't shifted, that is calling out as an opportunity instead of just an adversity to be shifted. And it's our responsibility as men to face ourselves, to become the wise man that we are. Like, you can't be a wise man just sinking. The wisest man isn't the man who can sink as many beers as humanly possible at the pub. The wisest man is the man who is able to listen to another man. The wisest man is the man who knows when to close his mouth. Wisest man is the man who knows how to express and show his feelings, in my opinion. And it's something that is so twisted in Australian culture, maybe just where I'm from. Yeah. It gets me all heated up. But
unfortunately, we got society against us as well. There's so much social drinking, and there's so many so it's hard for people to break down that pattern as well out of alcohol. But we've all got our own challenges. It's whether you got the willingness to turn up or not and make the change. It's completely up to ourselves. Are you happy with who you are? If you are, then that's great. If you're not, then change so you are happy with who you are. There's work in it. There's discomfort. There's layers to it, right? Like, it's a beautiful journey. Like, it really is a beautiful journey when you do it with compassion for self. And you become a better person. Inevitably, that's why we're here, is to learn about ourselves and become better so we can serve others as well.
And it's like you said, like, it's one day at a time. Like, when these things come up, it's the change, but I feel like there's so much pressure in change as well. Of when I would think of change, it'd be like, oh, okay, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and be a brand new person with new habits, new behaviors, new lifestyles, and it doesn't happen that quick. And it's so discouraging at times when I would add so much to my life and then be so discouraged because I'd be taken back just that quickly. And it would create disease and unwillingness and discouragement within myself. But it's like that small keys open big doors.
It's a beautiful saying.
To just take it one day at a time. One self-help book isn't going to cure us, but to really, my biggest thing that I recommend with self-help books, just as amazing as they are, I read so many of them, is to not read it once, to read it twice, 5 times. If you really loved that one book, if you didn't resonate with all of it, find another book. But when you find that book, study it like the Bible. Study it like you would study at school. Study it like you're trying to learn a new language, and really try and adapt and adopt these beautiful techniques. And take it one day at a time. Take it slowly. It's not going to happen overnight. But one thing I love to remember is that time moves anyway. When I try and think about like, oh, I'm going to run a marathon. And then I get into training and I'm like, oh, it's so far. It's going to take so long. It's going to be so hard. Like that date that I set to run a marathon is going to come anyway. And if I'm training to do it, then I'm going to reach it. If I'm not, that time's going to pass anyway. I'm going to look at that data and be like, oh, wow, I set out to do this thing that I really devoted to and I didn't do any of it. And it doesn't have to be a marathon. It's a bit of an extreme example. I still haven't even run a marathon. But just anything in life, learning a new skill, changing, growing, that time's going to move anyway.
I think we forget a lot of the time. We're always so busy moving forward. I think we forget to look back at where we've come from. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's the gauge of measurement that we really should be looking at. One of the things I did in the circle was, we went through a series of questions, but the guys wrote some things down that were really significant to them and looking forward into what they want to be or become, and, a goal or an achievement or just a personal shift. And so I got them to put it in an envelope and we sealed the envelope and they addressed it. And then I'd send it to them I think it was about 4 or 5 months later. And they got to open that, and just there's a reference as to where they're at on that journey. And like the feedback from that was phenomenal because most of them had not probably achieved, some had achieved, but others were close to achieving and, but they're on that path, because
it's just different from who they were that time that they wrote it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was really looking back, even though it was into the future. So, checking in on ourselves is pretty damn important. Yeah.
There's a beautiful Tony Robbins quote similar to that I hope I get it right, that we overestimate what we can complete in 1 year and underestimate just how much changes in 1 decade. Something like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's similar to that we can make so many goals for 1 year ahead, business, relationship, financial, whatever it might be. And then we get to that date and we look behind and we're like, oh my God, what? Like, it's not here. I'm not a millionaire yet. But if we really deepen it and take a look back 10 years behind, then that's where we can see true linear growth. Hopefully. Growth or at least change in our life, change in relationships, change in behavior, change in the way in which we talk to people and ourselves. It's always inevitably changing one way or another, hopefully for some better.
Yeah. I think we all get a chance to take a little sidetrack here and there too on our journeys. And
that's where better becomes from.
Yeah, it's not always the easy way, or,
No.
or it gives you a slap back on the right track. But
it's not ever linear. Like we learn from our shadows. We learn from those off tracks and beaten tracks and going back down into the pit and coming back right up. It's not just a linear journey. I know that for sure.
Yeah. But compassion comes into play, I think. Yeah. We're all on similar roads. So, yeah. And we got to laugh through it, right? Like there's times where we got to just find the joy and like the joy in the shit, and it's not as heavy as it can be perceived as sometimes. So the stories, the narratives, the things we tell ourselves, it's not always accurate. So laughing at something can, and with us,
If we can laugh about it then, why not laugh about it now?
Yeah, it's relevant. Yeah.
Sometimes we go through dramas and we're like, get so pissed off and riled up about it. And then 10 minutes later, we start laughing and giggling about how silly it was that we got frustrated at it.
Yeah.
Why not laugh at it right now
Yeah.
instead of getting frustrated?
Well, hopefully we can get to that point quicker, right?
Yeah.
That's the journey, is trying to realize that quicker. And and then hopefully not having an impact at all. Yeah. Just allowing it to be, and it just is. Yeah. Like at training, sometimes I'm like, oh, really? And then like 3 minutes later, I'm like, oh, what, really? Like, yeah, just the roller coaster ride of life. Yeah. So yeah, enjoy it as much as we can.
Thank you so much for dropping in, Shane.
Thank you for the invitation. Yeah, of course. I love what you're doing. We're all doing our part. We're all trying to play our part, and we don't have to all do the same thing. But as long as we're doing something to help lift the consciousness of the collective, then keep casting your net nice and wide with the work you're doing, because your ripple effect will, your podcasts will get shared, and yeah, it's really potent work just to hear other people's stories. Yeah. And yeah, whatever, take one piece out of it, or take no pieces out of it, or take lots of pieces out of it. But yeah, just hopefully we all find my daughter's favorite saying, Jasmine, the name, his dad, she said to me one day, Dad, I just love my favorite saying. She said, it's just, we're all just walking each other home. And it's Ram Dass's quote, and she said, I'm like, oh, wow, it's like for her to say, I think she was 18 or something at the time, 18, 19, when she said that, and went like, wow, what profound wisdom at that age to really resonate with that kind of comment. So, yeah. Did I say I'm pretty lucky to have him? I did, yeah. Yeah. So thank you for the work you're doing. Yeah. And thank you for, I spent 3 weeks with you, and you're such a genuine dude. Like you are, 20-ish, 22. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Just your maturity and your awareness, and the way you can hold space for others as well. It's inspiring. I wish it was something I had a lot earlier in life. But just, it's an honor. Yeah, it's an honor to know you, and where you're going, look out, I think. Yeah. The intentions are really clear and clean. So yeah, it's not all and there's no ego in there. It's we've hung out a fair bit too. Yeah, in Rishikesh. So we've had some laughs, and we've had some deep conversations. So it's been a pleasure. Yeah, to getting to know you. Thank you. Yeah.
You've made it to the end of the pod. If you could do me a huge favor and leave a 5-star review, this can really help the show grow. If you wish to post this podcast on your story, I'll DM you and personally thank you for helping this show grow and reach a new, wider audience. Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep wondering.